What's good, y'all? It's your boy Kenny Black, aka Mr. Funny Money. I'm in here with my favorite guys.
You see the background. I'm on vacation at the beach. Feeling good. It's cold, Dean.
All right. It's DJ Nightmare. You know what it is.
Yes, and this is your shit talking daddies podcast because we're daddies and we talking shit. And this weekend, it's what we do. We do. And we're gonna be on a different note kind of this weekend because this weekend that we're recording is Mother's Day weekend. It is actually the day before Mother's Day. So for this weekend, we don't count. We don't matter. We don't. Nope. We're just on assistant duty. So
we basically butlers right now.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Glorified butlers right now. All right. So let's do a quick check-in. How y'all doing? How y'all kids doing? How's the mothers doing?
Everything's good this week.
Y'all both just said the same thing. Yeah, I'm cool. My daughter's actually been sick all morning. She's been like,
man.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, she just been throwing up. I don't know. She ate
There's something going around.
Yeah,
it has to be.
Yeah, something.
It's that early spring sickness that everybody get when the weather start getting crazy.
Yes, that's something like that is hitting the house. So, and it's rainy and nasty since yesterday. So,
it's a fact.
Yeah,
I thought it was supposed to rain in April. It was April showers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Everything
it's been raining forever.
It's only been warm once, and then it's like been cold.
Where we had that 170-degree day. I was like, oh, I'm wearing shorts to work. Yeah.
I mean, we just barbecuing already, like just for that day.
Just that day. It sucks.
Yeah, we ran out of hot dogs.
All right. So our first topic for today, Cole, you want to say what the topic is?
How our partners make us better parents.
Better parents. Okay. I'm glad you specified.
Yeah. Not just better people, but specifically the parenting department, how we see ourselves becoming better through the eyes of them.
Definitely. I know for me, for one, having a daughter, and it's having a daughter and a mom who understands that, it helps me be a better parent to a daughter, understanding that like to a daughter, you kind of gotta be softer. There's certain like things that I have to be cognizant of and pay more attention to that like I may not have had if I had a son, or just being a guy in this world. So like pay attention to. So she helps me understand that. Being that she comes from a counseling background, she's encouraged me to just go to therapy, which is just, makes you a better person, but also makes you a better parent because I get to be aware of my own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to pass on to my child to be acknowledging why I do what I do and like how to parent differently than I was parented, just to, obviously every generation you just want to be better. So I have to know what happened to me to know I want to do this. I don't want to do that, little things like that. How about y'all?
Like for me, I feel like, it's funny you said that about therapy because like I'm actually on a cusp of looking for a therapist now. Like I just had like started a new job, so I got new insurance, whatever. So I'm trying to,
God, no job.
You know what I do. Yeah, I know what I do. But with my new job, I got new insurance, and I'm trying to figure out like what is in my network and what therapists I could use. Because I ain't trying to pay no copay.
I got a resource for you. I'll send it to you offline.
Yeah, send that to me. But yeah, because coming from my background where I grew up, we grew up in a tough love type of family environment. Like it comes to a point where like I could count probably on my fingers where I've even heard my parents say, I love you, because we don't say it, like, you know what I'm saying? So now with my son, I'm trying to, break away from that and actually like give him that emotional side, because you got to have the balance. So that's what I'm working towards.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? My fault. Like, isn't it interesting to just that what you said about hearing I love you? Like, you kind of go out feeling like I don't even need to hear it. I don't know if
yeah.
Like, I know it does, so I don't even care.
Yeah, for me, it's like I don't need to hear it. I know it. Like, but I guess for some people they need to hear it. So and that's what I'm learning to do. But sometimes I be like, nah, fuck that little nigga. But
Nah, you gotta say fuck them kids every once in a while. You don't gotta mean it, but you gotta say it out loud. You just gotta be like, fuck them kids.
Yep.
We'll give them a hug. They can't hear you say it. You gotta give them a hug afterwards. But with my wife, I feel like she teaches me a lot about patience. Like I'm very like stern and strict with my kids. Like I want to tell you something one time and then you better do it or I'm gonna be upset. And she teaches me to like rein back on that emotion, that like harshness, and try to be patient because kids are going to be kids. And no matter how much I want them to act like little adults, they're going to be kids and they need to have that kid time.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Because now we can all say this as being adults, like you remember, like, I wish I could just go back to being a kid and not having to be this responsible like all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's one benefit of being a kid is that sometimes you could just go. Like you don't have to necessarily think about the consequences of your action.
Wake up on Saturday morning, just watch cartoons, eat cereal.
That's yo. So I get that, man. Do y'all feel like I guess this is probably lead into more into the next topic, but like you ever think about, and Cole, you had this situation, but I know for me, I think about like previous like exes that I've had and like how like I feel fortunate that I didn't get any of them pregnant. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing I can say about like there's a shout out to my current partner is like my girl is like, I am happy that you're the person that I had this child with because just
you can imagine like how it was with the other ones.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? There's little things of just like yo, you would have irked me, or like to have been connected to you for the rest of our like the child's life. That's just like I know it would have just been a headache, especially like just in the relationship, whether you with them or not. So how do y'all feel about about that?
I'm glad that my wife is the mother of my daughter, and I'm glad that I have my son with the person that I had. I'm not glad I had it with that person. I'm just glad that I have him and she takes care of him. But I would have preferred to not have had a child with her. Yes. But he's here. I love him. He's my firstborn. I did name him Junior because I knew I wasn't going to be with his mom, or else he would have been Junior.
I respect you for that.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like the junior, you should be with the mother for the junior to work out. You know what I mean? It kind of feels. So I respect that.
When I was going over the names, it was just like, call him Junior. I was like, hell no. I was like, I'm not going to be with this woman because we broke up even before I knew she was pregnant or whatever.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was like, I'm not going to name him Junior and then he going to be living over here elsewhere without me. Like I don't like that.
Yeah.
I feel that 100%.
Yeah. Like I feel like with my previous partners, they were petty. So if I had a child with them, they probably would have did some petty stuff and put me on child support or something, even though I'm still in the house. Like it was like so I'm glad I have my child with the one I have it with. You know, she's been good, taking care of him, very responsible parent, feed him with love and energy that I struggle to do sometimes. So it's like it's good.
No, I feel that. My exes weren't petty. I just don't think they would make good mothers, except one who had
That's
kids.
what I was about to question next.
Like that's more, it's like you're just because I've had exes that I'm like, you can barely take care of yourself. You don't need to be, you know what I mean? And like to take care of a child is it's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of like, all right, I gotta. But you, I'm like, there was some time.
You can't be selfish.
There was one time one of my exes, I felt like she was my child. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of times I'm like, even at the young age, like this was high school and stuff, but I'm like, I'm way too like after you grow through the relationship, you're like, this feels like you're more like my daughter than my girl, and this is a problem. You know what I mean? I shouldn't feel like I'm talking to my younger sister when I'm talking to you, or I shouldn't see my younger sister doing things that I'm like, my girl doesn't even do this. This doesn't make sense. No, I gotta end this. So yeah. All right. I guess we can just take that on to the next one. What's the next topic, Cole?
Toxic relationships and Kevin Samuels' influence on those toxic
Yeah,
relationships.
Kevin Samuels
R.I.P.
passed away.
Rest in
R.I.P.
peace.
Big Dog.
Rest in
All right.
peace.
We gonna miss those hot takes.
The fact.
It's so
All the toxic women are celebrating right now.
yo, just a quick note on him and his death. Like, I understand people didn't agree with him and a lot of people didn't like him, but I don't know if it, like, to me it feels just wrong to just celebrate his death. You can say you don't care, you can say you're not sad about it.
Did you not see my Facebook post? Like what the comments that people left? People were really celebrating. Like some women were actually celebrating. Yeah, fuck that nigga. I'm glad he dead. I'm like, whoa.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm like,
he was truly toxic though, bro.
I agree. But I'm just like, because the thing is, my girl even said it, that was like, people celebrated when like Hitler died and like on Hot 97 day was like if Trump died. And I get it. My thing was that like for him was just, he was just talking, and granted now he has influence, but he didn't really like, it's not like Trump who or Hitler who like affected policy and like there was genocide. It was just like, this is a man with a strong opinion that like you got to choose to follow or choose to not. And you can be like, all right, he died. I don't really care. I don't, you know what I mean? But to celebrate
it was ODing. Because really, when you think about it, all he really did was like, give people advice, whatever, relationship advice, and tell them about themselves. And when you think about it, it was women who would call on the show. They didn't have to call. They wanted their advice. That was their choice.
He was King Fuckboy, and he kept spreading the disease of fuckboyness, and women didn't want that. So
I don't think
that's why he's being celebrated, because he was King Fuckboy, and now there's one less fuckboy in the world.
I don't think he was on a fuckboy status, because remember, in the beginning, he was mainly talking to men, and he was giving the men the same.
That's the other side.
He was giving toxic advice, though, bro.
He was definitely toxic. Like, I'm not denying.
He gave some good notes, but then most of the shit he would say was just like, women are beneath men and we need to be treated like kings. Like, no, it's an equal playing field.
I didn't get that.
You need to have respect for both of them.
I didn't watch a lot of his stuff, but some of the clips, like I had to, it was one of those things where he got so popular that you just had to talk about it.
Yeah.
You had to like investigate for yourself. I don't know, you just say some just mean shit. Like any woman that like had kids that wasn't with the guy, it was just like you just talk to them like they're less than human. And I'm like, that's bad. You know what I mean? Don't.
I think people got caught up on like how harsh he was talking about. Honestly, I feel like he was given a particular reality of this situation.
To some, it was that, but then it was like you're just me. Like you would say, like, look, you got mad kids, and you're trying to get or you're in a situation where like you don't have as much to offer to the man or to this person that you want. Say that to them, like you're like, let them know you're being delusional. You're asking for too much that you're not.
He did say that. He said that,
right? But no, he would also say like, look at you, like you're a 7. You're like, I also think people like judge people by numbers.
Yeah. When he started rating them, he started going in
seriously, on like you're dehumanizing people. Like don't do that. Just
because he tried to belittle women for having kids. Like, oh, if you have kids, you shouldn't be dating anyway, and you're less than because you have a kid. Like.
Right, and like that type of stuff, it doesn't acknowledge that like people may have had kids with someone they were really in a relationship with, and then the relationship didn't work out, or they were in an abusive situation that they finally got out of, but they just happened to be kids from it.
Like I get that. Like, I mean, the women shouldn't be belittled for having kids, but at the same time, it is harder for them in the dating world where they do have kids. And
because of people like Kevin Samuels,
because it's always been hard. Even
not because they're less than, it's because there's people like Kevin Samuels, and that's why he's been celebrated. His death has been celebrated a little bit by assholes because they don't want that type of energy in the world, and that's a lot.
That energy is gonna be there. It's a sad reality.
I think that's what they're saying. Is like it's the perpetuation of it. It's like, let's not continue toxicness, because at the same time, and obviously it's different because women carry the kid, but like men that have mad kids are not treated the same way. Like no man is considered less than for having mad kids, which is like you're actually more of a burden. Like a man that has mad kids that they're not like with, like someone like a Future is like glorified, but then like a woman that
but I feel like that in a way is because the system, for that matter, it does cater towards women who have the kids. So like most of the time, if a man has mad kids, most of the time it's the woman who had the kids with him have most of the custody, or they spend most of the time with the kids because the government is like, yo, we're gonna give you all these type of benefits, if you have the kids in your custody, and a man
Yeah,
usually
but
is asked out.
why have so many kids as a man? You
I
have
mean,
a
yeah,
kid,
of course.
okay. You have two kids with
those
two
are
women,
toxic men that are
okay.
out there.
You should start seeing that there's a pattern that you need to not have. If you're not going to take care of the kids, don't have the kids.
Oh, that's a big fact. Yep.
People don't acknowledge this is like not even our topic, but whatever. I feel like a lot of dudes don't acknowledge that like the key, like that taking care part is not just send some money,
yeah,
on a holiday, I'm gonna see you. Like there's a lot to it that's like very important. Like it's tied to like when
moms are superheroes for real.
Yeah, definitely.
Yo,
single moms.
No, yeah, and like just like my daughter said this to me the other day, like she was like, you're strong and super, you can just do anything. And I'm sitting there like, oh, like I'm on the other end of that. Like you remember as a kid, you really looked at your dad or that person that like could do anything, and like now being it, I'm like, I am by no means super. I am not strong enough. I can't do everything you think. But in her mind, like I can. So I'm like, I'm sure you the same thing for mom.
That's
so
what's
it's just
up.
like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I know you cheered up a little bit. You had to share a little tear.
I was like, no, it was funny because I was really like, oh my gosh, like sis, you have no idea how much I'm like.
And it makes you think back on your parents, like when you was thinking about them that way, they probably was all struggling and distraught and didn't know what was going on. So it's like it's interesting.
Right. So they don't, you gotta take into account that just like if I was just buying her things, wouldn't be the same. So we have to acknowledge that. Moms do so much. It's yeah. But toxic relationships. We didn't. Let's
oh yeah.
Back on topic.
Have y'all, I guess, been in toxic relationships?
Yeah.
So before you answer, let me ask: did you know it was toxic at the time, or was it like when you look back on it?
I started figuring out it was toxic over time.
Yeah, over time, you start to see the toxicity.
Because at first it's like, that was interesting. You just brush it away.
Balancing.
So what is something? Because I noticed like toxic feels like a buzzword that came out more in our adult life. And so we didn't at the time when things were toxic, we didn't have a word for it. So, but what are some of the things that you noticed that you say, all right, that was toxic?
Well, at least they didn't shit in the bed like Amber Heard did for Johnny Depp.
That is different. There should be another level for. I don't know that whole situation. I didn't really follow it too strong, but like there needs to be another word for her.
That's a fact. That was like, yo. But like for me, my type of personality, I don't like to argue for the most part. I don't like to raise my voice, because if I do, I feel like it takes me to another place where it's hard for me to get back from. So one of my previous relationships, she was a type who liked to pick fights and argue. And it's like, nah, I can't deal with this. Like eventually it started wearing me out to a point. Cause a woman's get mad. Like if you see a woman like yelling and being all angry at you and you just sitting there with a straight face, like whatever, that pissed him off even more. So it's like, I knew it wasn't going to mesh out together well. And then, so I had to cut it off.
What about you, Cole?
My previous relationships that I would consider toxic were more toxic because of stagnation. Like I was with people that I was comfortable with and I had feelings for, and there wasn't any growth. I didn't feel like they made me a better person, and I don't feel like I was helping to make them a better person. And that is just not healthy for anybody to stay in the same lane, because I would be in long relationships. I was with somebody for 8 years, and to feel the same for 8 years is kind of weird. So when I met my wife, she was very open-minded and she had an eye for detail and stuff. And it made me be like, oh, I can see this in a different way, or I can do this a different way, or I can learn this. And it just helped make me a better person. And hopefully I'm helping make her a better person, because this time around, it feels like we're growing together as well as being in love.
Yeah, it makes a difference when you're learning from each other. It makes a big difference.
No, I feel that. I think similar, like for me, it was similar situation. I think I mentioned before about feeling like this person is I don't want to say child, but dependent. Right? Like I know for me, I was always the person of like, oh, I got a girl now, I gotta do this. Like I gotta learn this. Like from high school, it was like, oh, I'm gonna get my driver's license. So when she's at my house, I don't have to ask my parents to take her home. I can take the car and bring her home. Like, you know what I mean? Things like that. Or I'm going to car. Like I'm just let me be better because I'm in a relationship. Whereas it felt like you're not getting better unless I tell you, unless I push you, unless I, you know what I mean? You're kind of content. And eventually you kind of catch on, but then it's like, and you're just doing things that's like, yo, you don't see the problem with this here? Like, you know, like, yeah, you're hanging out with certain people in a certain kind of way, or like you're talking to do, you're doing certain things that's like, it got me looking crazy. People asking me like, yo, what's up with her? I saw her with him. And I'm like, okay, see, this is, you know what I mean? This is a problem. Even if I don't believe anything is happening, because I'm not a person, I'm not checking your phone, I'm not doing all that stuff. I'm just, if you are doing something, all right, I'll find out, it's over. I'm gonna move on because I know I'm gonna be good. But like, yeah, little stuff like that. And I remember one point feeling like if I'm not looking out for this person, I'm afraid she might die. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's extreme thought for a young person, like a young mom, but at the same time, it was like, nah, for real. And then you get the threats of like, I'm gonna kill myself type thing. And I was like, see, you know.
Yeah, you know what? You just reminded me. I was in a situation like that too, where it's like, that was toxic. Where, like, it turned, like, we had a long distance relationship, and then
I just realized it was toxic just now.
Just now, I was
real.
Nigga said that was toxic.
Yeah, that was like, oh yeah, she did try to kill herself. Yeah, that was. But yeah, like I said, I've been in a situation like that where, we was having our issues being in a long distance relationship, and then she ended up like having to like do self-injurious behavior. I'm like, and that's like, it really takes a toll on you when you're trying to bring somebody out of a depressive state, and that's like in itself toxic. So
yeah, you can't. Some people you can't help them unless they want to help themselves.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Let's do our top 5. We always gotta have a top 5 for the episode. And since it's Mother's Day weekend, I figured let's pick our top 5 TV moms. Just who we just thought are great moms, and whatever your criteria is, just top 5. So
right, who's first?
This was tough for me. I gotta like pull up my picture.
I'll go first. I gotta throw in Trudy Proud from the Proud family. She's a good mom's right there. Always have to deal with Oscar's antics. She stayed true to the ground. Make sure the kids are taken care of and all that.
That's a fact.
Who else? I gotta go with Harriet Winslow. Because they live in Chicago. That's Beef City right there. Always shooting, so that got to be tough to raise a family.
We're in the windy,
especially if the husband is a cop. He got a target on his back. That's number 2. 3, I gotta go with Claire Huxtable. I mean, that's the GOAT right there.
Oh, the GOAT.
That's the GOAT. Like when you talk about strong, powerful mothers, yo.
Oh yeah, it's over.
Well educated, all that. Of course, I want to say the first Aunt Viv from the
dark skin Aunt Viv.
Yeah, no shade to the light skin Aunt Viv. Like her as an actor, she did a lot of she did a lot of things. Solid. Dark skin Aunt Viv was solid, yo. The fact that she went on Will's school campus, became a teacher and all that. She taught African American studies in his school. Like, come on.
Yeah. She was real. She was a real one.
And last but not least, I can't think of one for the last one.
You need to start writing down your list before the episode.
Too many for you to leave them out.
Me, nigga, that don't do the homework. You know what I'm saying?
Nigga got a DJ job. Nigga said, I'm a DJ and I got insurance.
I'm gonna go.
You know what I do.
I'm gonna go. So, all right. So for one, I'm gonna go with, I don't remember the character's name, but Jack K from Sister, mom from Sister.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For you to first not only adopt a kid, but then move in, like let her twin sister live with you and the dad. Like that's
They
high
moved
level
into
mom.
the dad's house.
Oh yeah, right. But still, even to
Yeah.
let it happen, like that's high level momming right there. Like
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's real. For 2, I'm gonna go with D for Moesha.
Oh yeah.
Stepmom, and I have a special place heart for stepmoms because I have a stepmom, so like that was just special for me. Of course, I'm like you, just like you. I'm gonna throw in Harriet because she was just a real mom. Like
Mm-hmm.
she didn't have the like she wasn't super like the job professional, but she was a professional in her
She was a
job.
homemaker.
Yeah, she was
Right.
staying home mom. Yeah.
And she was a supervisor. Like she was real. Like I could relate to that. And I'm trying to be different from you. I'm gonna go with dark skin on bed because it's just
Yeah.
I mean, goat level shit. And then I'm not gonna say Claire because that's just we already know.
She on a whole
Yeah,
different
That's
level.
top tier.
Yeah,
She the Michael Jordan of TV moms.
facts. I'm gonna go with Jay from My Wife and Kids.
Ooh,
Tisha Campbell,
Yeah.
which really was just Gina growing up.
yeah. She
She
left Martin.
she was
Left Martin
cool,
and got
but
with
I feel like
Whitney.
she didn't do enough. Like she had some parts where she was like, I want to do better, but most of her shit was just
Nah,
being silly and crazy.
she stopped working to be the house mom and then
Yeah.
tried to go back to like she was
And
really
then she
home
went
with
back to
them.
school and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she was really trying to do it. Even when he tried to kick Junior out for sleeping in his bed, and she was like, "Nah, that's my baby. You can't just do him like that."
Nah, he did violent though.
But then she like, I put him in the garage because she was like, he do gotta pay for what he did. Like,
Yeah.
there's some consequence, but like, it's not throw my kid out on the street. Like, so I respect.
You ever
it.
had sex in your parents' bed?
Nah, I wasn't that crazy.
Not mine.
Mm-mm.
Nah, I was not not mine.
Oh,
Oh, I mean, you got a story to tell. He got a story.
that's for another podcast. All right. My top 5. I put Claire Huxtable in because she's the GOAT. She's the greatest of all time for TV moms. She's
I
my
knew y'all
number
would.
one.
I still want to. I'm like, be different.
Number 2 is dark skin Aunt Viv because she used to hold it down. My number 3 is Rochelle Rock from Everybody Hates Chris.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was an honorable mention for me.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is Florida Evans from Good Times.
Good time.
James.
You want to talk about Chicago moms? She had it hard. She had to go and fight gangs and shit for her kids. She was real.
Facts.
And then finally, I put Trudy Proud because she be running shit, and Oscar is scared as shit of her.
That's a fact.
And that's how I be feeling with my wife because my wife be intimidating me. Please send help. Please send help.
And said,
blink twice. If you need help, blink twice.
I will blink as many times as I need. Send help.
That's hilarious. But though it was, yo, I was trying to like find my list. There were a lot of like solid moms, yo, like especially black moms, like, and I want to just because this is a current one. The mom from Blackish,
Rainbow.
Rainbow, like just
the mom and the grandma from Blackish.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, and speaking of grandmas, the grandma from Family Matters.
Yeah, she was a real one.
That lady,
Estelle?
right? Yeah, Estelle Winslow. What's her name? Yo, she was. I was like, I want a grandma like that. Like that's high level grandma.
You like the voice of reason for that show. Like,
yo, the quilt episode, I was emotional when she made the quilt and like Laura didn't appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was like, nah, man, they don't make quilts no more. Grandmas and grandma like that no more.
I low-key got mad at Laura too. I'm like, yo.
No, I was like, well, so grandma, what you doing? You better hold that.
I mean, you could go on Etsy if you want a grandma quilt.
I might.
Etsy got these old Russian women out here pushing these quilts out for real.
Damn.
Get a $400 large knit quilt.
Mm-hmm. You can lie and say it's been in the family for generations.
Facts. But all right, y'all, let's do a close out before we go. Good talking to y'all. I once again go by the name Kenny Black, 2 C's, no K.
I'm Codeine on the beach here. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
It really like you saying codeine like the drug. But
yeah, we say that all the time. I'm about to just change my name to Codeine.
Codeine, baby. on that
Get
leaf.
off me.
You gotta get the styrofoam cup and just put your name on the label.
Codeine.
Get a baby bottle. Some purple liquid in the baby bottle.
That purple
Yeah,
stuff. DJ Nightmare, you know what it is. Come check me out at Bridges Bar. I'm there every Saturday on East Tremont, the Bronx, you know.
Oh, that's a fact. I got a lot of shows coming up this month too. So check me out.
All right,
y'all. Peace.